my name is Kia Arian, and the name of my business is Zine. Sometimes we call it Zine Marketing, but I go by Zine, sweet and short. And we serve attorneys, experts, and trust-based professionals, and we help them to create brands that stand apart and command attention. Our specialty is in marketing, print marketing, things like newsletters, magazines, books, things that you can touch and feel and have a physical presence.
Wow, I love that. That was very clear as well. Just a great mission statement. Now, take me back. What drew you to creating Zine? Give me a quick overview of your journey from the start.
So it's been about 20 years. So actually, this August will be 21 years. So I
Congrats.
will be legal. But 20 years that I launched Zine, and I launched it from a print shop that I had purchased. I started off in information technology systems. That was what I studied in college. And I actually, fun fact that a lot of people are interested to know about, I used to work with the Hubble Telescope. And so, amazing job, amazing people, loved the work that I did, but it just didn't light me up. And so I thought, well, what can I do? I loved being creative. I had computer skills. I could do, a lot of different things. I decided I wanted to get into design. And so there was an opportunity to purchase a print shop. Purchase the print shop. That's where I launched Design. So I wanted the printing and the design to be separate so that I can build up the brand for having a high-end design agency. So that's how Zine started. We actually went through several iterations, reinventions I call them. Started off as a design agency, and then we reinvented it into a marketing agency, and today's iteration is a brand development agency, and I love it.
Amazing. I love that. I love that evolution. Zine focuses on helping clients be known rather than viral. Can you share a story of when being known made all the difference for a client?
Yeah, let me share we have one client in two different industries. So I work with a lot of attorneys and like I said, in who trust-based industries such as financial advisors, consultants, and that type of industry. But we also have other people who are entrepreneurial. They've started their businesses and now they're scaling their businesses. But one of our attorneys that worked with us, they're a business attorney, and they what they would approach as, or they would present themselves as, was legal services, writing contracts, creating agreements, selling businesses, and that's what they sold. However, when I went through our process with them and I talked to them, I saw that there was so much more to them. And not only was more to what they offered their clients, but they were actually living it. Like it was already part of who they were. They just hadn't crossed it to their business. And so we worked together to create a business brand that wasn't just about we write contracts for you. It was we help you love your business and love your life, because that's what they were doing. And the way they helped them love their business and love their life was to maybe restructure their business so they could sell their business, bring in a partner, create new agreements with other businesses. And so they're still doing what they're doing. We just reposition them so that the message is actually the outcome that they provide and that they're also living. And the result of that for them was that they were able to increase their prices by 40%, and they were able to take on less clients but bring in more revenue. So that was one example of how we help clients to really understand who their brand is, like their true authentic brand, and how to bridge that gap into the work that they love and they're already doing.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing that. You often say marketing is not a funnel, it's a relationship. What does that look like in action for your clients?
So I love that you asked that question, because what I find is that business owners, business builders, leaders, entrepreneurs, they get into business and there's so much information out there, Isabella. I mean, there is no lack for information. And literally, I think it doubles every month now, especially with AI. So we're overwhelmed with information. But I have this saying that says if information was all we needed, we'd all be rich, happy, and skinny. Information is not what we need. But what do we need? So my contention is that we need relationship, we need connection, we need people. And so businesses get into business and they follow the rules. People tell them what to do, how to run their business, how to market, what to say, how to say it, when to say it. It's all rules. And then they lose themselves. So the business owner, they lose what truly, that fire that got them to where they were. And so we come in and I said, just throw out the rules. Let's just rewrite them for you and what matters to you and who you want to speak to, who you want to impact. Because one of my core beliefs is that you have a message within you that people need to hear from you, that they cannot hear from someone else. Your message is built from who you are, your experiences, your wisdom, how you were made, how you respond to your experiences, and it's unique to you, and there are people who are going to benefit from it. So that's why I say marketing is not a funnel. You can use funnels as a guide, but at the end of the day, it's relationships with the people that you're meant to connect to.
Absolutely. I love that. It takes kind of the mechanical feeling out of running a business when you integrate a little bit more of who you are, who the business owner is.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what you said. You hit the nail on the head. It takes the mechanics and it brings the joy back in.
It's beautiful. All right. You help trust-based professionals build reputation capital. What's one overlooked step to earning deep trust in today's business world?
Oh, that's a great question. And you know what? The answer is going to sound, it's going to sound like what everybody else says, but it just is. It's authenticity. And it's authenticity, not just, I'm just going to be honest with what I'm saying, but really sharing not just your wins, but your challenges and the places where you felt like a failure, where you felt you weren't enough. Being open about those things is really the start to building trust, because people want to know that you're human, first of all, that they can relate to you. And they want to know that, wait, if they got through it, I can get through it. And that automatically creates a connection.
Yeah, it makes me think about, I mean, my background is in music, and the songs and the artists that I love most are ones that I connect with because I resonate with the story that they're telling.
That's right.
And it feels personal, and there are these personal details peppered throughout that I can kind of relate to. So
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
exactly
a lot
right.
of sense.
It does.
Yeah. How do you know when a client has stepped into their next chapter with their marketing?
I can tell in their writing or in their media. So, we do print marketing, so we do a lot of writing and we see a lot of writing. And so one of our signature programs is print newsletters. So we put together these beautiful 4-page newsletters that get sent to their clients, their prospects, referral sources. And most of the time they will write at least some of the content. And I can sense the shift in the writing. And I can tell that it comes from a place of authenticity and deep within, where they really have connected with the thing that lights them up, and they're not afraid to talk about it and tell their readers, their clients about it. So that's how I can tell when they made the shift.
Yeah, it almost seems like maybe they see the value in what they offer kind of in a fresh way as well. Now that they're more connected with themselves and more authentic, or showing up more authentically. So that's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
How would you describe the culture at Zine in 3 words, and how do you foster that environment for your team?
How do I describe the culture at Zine? First of all, I love the culture at Zine. I'm just going to say, I would describe it as, I will give you one word. It's freeing. It's freeing because I am not a micromanager. I look at you and treat you like you know what you're doing. You have talents and skills that you want to use. No one's forcing you. And I know that if you're able to use them, you're just going to blossom and you're going to love life. And that's how I treat all my employees, my contractors, even my children. That if I just give you the space to step into that, you're just naturally going to flourish there. To me, it's giving you freedom to make decisions, giving you freedom to make mistakes, and giving you freedom to recover from it. And just really taking ownership of the work that you do and making sure that people are positioned in places that they're operating in their genius. So what they love to do is what they're doing. And that's our team at Zine. Everybody that's there loves what they're doing, and somehow it all works.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think all teams should be like that. It
Yeah.
sounds like a dream. And I really do think that putting people in positions that play to their strengths makes all the difference. I mean, then they have that passion to show up and do an amazing job at work every day. So,
Yeah, and that goes along with our vision, which is that you have a talent, you have a power that was given to you to use. And whether it's in your workplace as an employee, whether it's your business as an entrepreneur, whether as a parent with your kids, whatever role you're in, there's something innate in you that needs to come out and make that difference. And here's the trick to it, Isabella. What's in us, we fail to recognize it because it comes so natural to us. We think, what's the big deal? But it comes so natural to us because that's our genius. That's the beauty in us that we don't see in ourselves. But others will see it, but we devalue it. And so that's the part I love about my job. I love seeing that in people and telling you, do you realize how amazing you are? Do you realize the gift that you are? And you're like, what? I do it every day. I'm like, exactly. Now understand how beautiful that is.
yeah, really getting people to see themselves and their strengths with a fresh set of eyes.
That's right. That's right.
Love that. What's one ritual or habit your team has that keeps creativity and purpose at the forefront of your work?
So we do. I'm gonna give you two. One is our weekly calls, that our weekly team meetings where we go over projects and things. At the beginning of the call, we always do a "How was your weekend?" How was your? And that was so key for people. And we might spend 15, 20 minutes on it, but we're all remote, so it really helps us really stay connected with each other. So, how was your weekend? And so we'll share. The other thing that I do, which is probably the answer that keeps the culture, is that I have a monthly, what I call a team success call. And the purpose of that call is to everybody shares a win. They share observed wins in each other. They will share areas where they need support. It could be professional or personal. And even the wins and the observed wins could be professional or personal. So like one of my team members, she got her kid through kindergarten, right? Like that was a big win. Or another one, he just recently moved. And so that was a big win. And then we also share, where do you need support? Where can we support you? So maybe they're having some family issues. Maybe they're dealing with just something really challenging. And we'll just say, hey, I just need some extra support here. And then what I do is I share a company message, a CEO message, where I say, here's our vision. I remind them of our vision, what we're doing, maybe some really big wins. And so that's been really, really nice to pull us together. And let me just give you a real quick example of where I was just so in awe of my team. I don't know what it was. I had a really tough something that week. And I got on the call and I actually broke down. And I broke down. I said, guys, I'm going to need to go. And they were like, yeah, just go. You're fine. And so I got off the call. And then my calls get recorded with our AI team notes. And I went back to look at the call. And after I had gotten on the call, my team was like, okay, you take this off her plate. You take this off her plate. You do this. I'm going to do this. If you need anything, call me. Do not bother her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I broke down even more. That's team culture.
That's
team culture.
amazing.
Yeah.
You have a great team.
Yeah.
It sounds like many clients come to you after feeling burned out by trendy marketing. What's your process for reigniting their confidence and voice?
I have a pretty in-depth process. I call it the Brand Discovery Intensive. And I interview them. We go through this interview process 2 hours a day for about 5 days, back to back. And I ask them very specific, dialed in questions that may seem random, but they're not. And I'll ask them about their market. I'll ask them about their challenges, breakthrough results, their career, their story, their ideal client, what problems they solve. So I just go through a bunch of questions. And then by about day 3 or so, we integrate it all. And then just by them expressing what they've done in their past, however many years they've been in business and why they did it. And, I'll drill down. I'll be, well, why did you do that? What was it about that experience that made it enjoyable for you? All of a sudden, the light bulb goes off. And they're like, oh, this is what I love. This is what makes a difference. Like, I did make a difference for those people. I am undercharging for my services. I should be charging more here. And so The process that we use, it seems kind of lengthy and people want to skip it, but it's a beautiful process of them coming to a place of, you know what I do is valuable. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, it reminds me, I took a lot of art history in college, but it reminds me of what you do, reminds me of almost like a sculptor kind of chipping away at like
Yes.
this incredible like person that's underneath, but just they can't see that for themselves until you kind of ask those questions and chip away and then reveal this like beautiful business person and just newly inspired person as well. So,
That's incredibly intuitive of you, and that's exactly right. So I call it, in our industry, they do a lot of breakthrough. Let's break through. Let's push through. Let's do this and go after this and go after this. And my approach is just stay still and let's strip away the things that aren't you. It's not this hard grind, hustle, push through. It's just stay and just release the things that aren't you. And it's a lot more fun. It's flow, it's rest, and it's like a breath, is what it is.
yeah, breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I love that. If a client could only focus on one piece of content to build meaningful relationships, what would you recommend and why?
So it would depend on where their strength is. Now, I'm biased. I love writing. So to me, I think writing has staying power, it has presence, it's therapeutic. No one's born a writer. When I started writing, I look at some of my old writings, I'm like, oh. But I look at some of my writings now and I'll read them 5 times because I'm like, oh, you're inspiring, you know? And so it's with anything, it takes practice. Art, music, no one's really, maybe a few people are, but no one's really born to do those things. So, but it depends on their gifts. So if they enjoy writing, I do recommend that they write. But if they're not writers, and it's okay if they're not, they may be more like auditory, where they like to speak. Well, record videos, just post videos. So, and those are really the media that people, you either like to speak it, or you like to write it, or I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they prefer, I would say just start with either recording videos and posting them in social media or writing.
Yeah, I love that. You talk about unlocking someone's legacy rather than just building strategy. How do you define legacy in business?
So legacy is just for the most straightforward definition is the impact, is the transformation that you bring about. Not just to a person or to a people, it could be to a community, it could be to an organization, but it's the thing that pivots and shifts what was before, that puts it on a different trajectory, because that's what people remember, right? They may not remember that nice idea you gave them that maybe brought in more revenue, or that tactic that helped them do something more efficiently. And those are nice, those are strategies. But legacy is, what can you give that changes the trajectory to something different, that takes them to where that they always knew they wanted to go.
Love that way of putting it. What can you bring that changes the trajectory?
Yeah.
Awesome. What part of your own journey, maybe a challenge or turning point, most shaped how you show up for your clients today?
Being in business for over 20 years, there's so many points that I can point to. There's so many pivot points that occurred for me. But to just sort of give one overall, and this has been a theme actually the past few days, and I've been sort of meeting with people and exploring new opportunities. The thing that I would say made the biggest difference for me was keep showing up. Keep showing up. Even if you think no one's listening, keep showing up. Even if you think you're not making a difference, keep showing up. Write the email, send the email, write the post, record the video, make the phone call, connect with that person, try that new campaign. Just keep showing up is really what I would say. Because if you don't show up, nothing's going to happen. But if you show up, all of a sudden doors open that you wouldn't have thought otherwise.
And it feels better, I think, to show up, even in terms of building confidence with yourself. If you know that you're showing up, it keeps that confidence alive, but it's when you feel like you haven't been showing up and you're scared to kind of get back into it and maybe there's a gap, that's a little bit harder. So I definitely agree.
You're absolutely right. The show up is because what if I show up and I fail? What if I show up and no one notices? What if I show up and I get ignored? There's a what if, but switch the story, change your story. What if I show up and that opportunity opens up? What if I show up and that new account comes in? What if I show up and I make a difference for someone that showed up too? So just change that story. Just flip the script.
I love that. That is so beautiful. All right. I know that you're working, or you just finished your manuscript for your
Yes.
book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Give us a little teaser.
Yes, I am so excited. So I just finished writing my business book. I actually, I have a role with a company called Million Dollar Author, highly recommend, where they write, publish, and promote your business book in record time. And one of my role there is called a content strategist or book strategist, where I will interview authors and I will help pull the content out, do exactly what I do in my business, right? I'm just doing it for their books. So it's a beautiful process. So much like alignment and enlightenment and people like wow, like aha moments. And so I'm using their process to write my book and I'm really excited about it. So I just wanted to plug them because I love it. I recommend everyone to think about writing a book, even if they have nothing to say, just plant the seed to write your book. Okay, so back to my book. So my book is about that. I have a working title for it, but the concept is, and I'm not gonna announce it yet.
That's
So
okay.
so whoever's listening to this, they'll
Builds
have to
excitement.
yes,
It's
they'll
good.
have to come and come back. But the concept of it is what is on the other side of your success. So you've done everything, you've reached all your goals, you've made the money, you've made the impact. Now what? What's next? What's there to do now? And so a lot of entrepreneurs, people in the business leadership, they find themselves with this internal conflict of, I should be happy, but why am I not happy? And they have no one to tell because who are you going to tell? They're going to be like, look at your life. You know, they sort of like put you down. Like, of course you're happy. What are you talking about? So my book is about that. And I say, I get it. You're at a place where you're looking for what is that purpose? What did I do? And so through my book, I take them through a journey that says, your business prepared you for this point in your life. Now here's the next step. Here's what I want you to think about. Here's the questions that I want you to ask so that you can come into and write that next chapter of your life that feels perfectly aligned with what you were called to be. So I just love that book.
So exciting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And a lot of our guests could probably benefit from that. I mean, we've had a lot of successful business owners with long careers, and we just get a lot of people in the studio who maybe would be super interested in reading that. I mean, I want to read it, and I haven't had a long
Yeah.
career.
Well, I'm going to give you a complimentary signed copy so you can read it.
So exciting.
And one of the themes of the book is new brand that I'm actually officially launching it this week, but I will announce it here. It's called the Muse's Pen. And so it's about writing the next chapter of your life from a place of more connected with your soul, from a more creative place, from a more inspired place, from a place of joy, from a place of rest, from a place that isn't proving anything, isn't striving, but is finally free. And that's what the Muse is. The Muse is giving you the freedom to be who you were called to be and giving you the pen so that you can write that next season of your life, the next chapter of your life. So the Muse's pen, it's coming in email, it's coming in my book, and who knows what else.
Yeah. Wow. That is so exciting. Thank you for
you.
giving us a little announcement. For me, that makes me think about, I have my degree in songwriting actually. So we talk a lot about kind of the muse within a song and who you have to step into to be able to let go of judgment and be free when you are writing so it doesn't inhibit your process. So what you just talked about kind of reminds me of that. And I just am so excited to see what you do with it because even though like I might not directly relate, I love hearing what you have to say. And yeah, you're
What you
so
just
inspiring.
Thank
You're
you.
incredible.
What you just said was nailed it. Without judgment.
Without
A
judgment.
place without judgment where you're free to just create And how fun and freeing is that?
So fun. I love it. Well, is there anything else that I didn't touch on that you want to let us know on the podcast today?
Well, I loved your questions, and this was an amazing interview. I think we touched on everything. The last thing that I would have wanted to say was the Muse's pen, so I kind of anticipated your question. But I would say for the viewers and your listeners is that I would love to stay connected with them. They can go to my website, zinemarketing.com, and just give me your email. You can subscribe. I send a weekly-ish email that I get a lot of good feedback on, and I also send a print newsletter that I get a lot of good feedback on. And we'll just stay in touch. I'm also on social media, so I would love to stay connected with anybody who wants to stay connected. And if you tell me that you watched this podcast and you found out about me here, I will send you a complimentary copy of my book when it publishes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kia, for coming in and making the time to talk to me today about your journey and the Muse's pen and Zine and everything, and for sharing your expertise. This has been just an incredible conversation, and I know that our audience will love this episode and learn a lot too. So
Thank you, Isabella. It was so fun being here.